Throughout the long history of LEGO Castle, we have gotten many different royal families. Because of that, I want to go through all the different royal figures we have gotten on this episode of LEGO Tavern Talk. Now, I will say, I won't be talking about the figures from the LEGO chess sets and some of those just random 4+ sets which had like a king made up of parts we already had. I'm going to stick with figures that came in the castle theme. To start the story, we need to go back to the time of the Yellow Castle and the family that ruled it. In the bios of the CMF King and Queen, we learn that they were the rulers of the Yellow Castle. The king is an absolutely beautiful minifigure and was the first minifigure to use the crown/hairpiece. He is still the only figure to have come with the reddish-brown beard piece, which has made that specific color pretty expensive. To rule with him is the CMF Queen, who came out in 2016. She was the first figure to use the large skirt piece, which we have only seen 8 times in total. We do know the king and queen at least had one kid. In Knight's Joust, we were introduced the first ever royal figures. One of those figures on Bricklink is called the Prince. His colors do match the king and queen and has a similar hair color to the king. Because of those details and because we know that this set is connected to the Yellow Castle, I believe he is their son. Now, this figure is very easy to part together. If you're trying to add this torso or this figure to your collection, be on the lookout, because usually the gold on the torso is either pretty faded or just non-existent. Also in Knight's Joust is the princess. She can either be another heir, which I believe is the case because of her red hair, which matches the queen, or she is the prince's wife. There's also a theory that these two figures are the CMF Queen and King before they became the Queen and King of the Yellow Castle. But all of this is just theories and some fun speculation. The princess is actually very easy to part together because all of her parts came in town sets. During the early years of LEGO Castle, we saw a couple of figures that are supposed to be princesses or maidens, like this figure who came in King's Mountain Fortress. Most of these figures use this cone-shaped hat in either red or white. Maiden's Cart, Knight's Challenge, and Guarded Inn all have examples of this style of maiden that they used during this era. There was always a small difference between each of them. The first official king that we ever got didn't come out until 1995's Royal Knights line. From this line, we got the Royal King, also called King Richard. His final form, as I like to call it, is him with a white plume and a beautiful printed cape that has the Royal Knights logo on it. He also has his base form, which doesn't come with a plume or cape, and another look that's very similar to that one where he has white legs. In 1998, LEGO released the LEGO Chess video game, which was originally bundled with 2586, the Crazy LEGO King. You could technically say this torso is exclusive to this figure. However, if you just look at Knight's Kingdom, this torso is used, but just with different color arms. The first official royal family that we ever got was released in 2000's Knight's Kingdom 1. The head of the family is King Leo, who has printed legs, a chrome gold crown, and a blue torso with a lion on it. He came in a total of 3 sets. He is married to Leonore, who's the first official queen in LEGO Castle. She appeared in both versions of King Leo's castle. She's the only figure to use the high cone hat in black, and when she retired, that part was actually retired with her. They do have a daughter, Princess Storm. She appeared in both versions of King Leo's castle and in Knight's Catapult. According to her bio, this courageous princess loves adventures and wants to be a knight. She practices sword fighting and jousting with the knights. I always kind of just find this figure funny because of her crazy hourglass armor. In the bios of both the king and queen, we learn that they have a long-lost son, who went on a quest and has not yet returned. There's also another version of King Leo that we got in the 2006 set, King's Castle. At the end of Knight's Kingdom 2, LEGO put out this just random set that is supposed to be King Leo's castle, but all the shields and stuff for King Leo and the bowls are just stickers. The king that is supposed to be Leo is made up of a bunch of non-printed parts. For this video, I actually just parted him out from my collection because his parts are just that basic. In Knight's Kingdom 2, one of the main characters we were introduced to is King Matthias, who is the king for the first 2 years of the theme. In the theme, we learned that he is the leader of Morsia. One thing that's really cool about this figure is that his arms and torso use blue-violet, which if you don't know, just watch a Cheesy Studios video and you'll probably learn about it. He's actually how I got this figure. He appeared in 4 sets, with the 4th set being a chess set where he has a cape. At the end of the 2005 storyline for Knight's Kingdom 2, Jaco is crowned the King of Morsia. In the 2006 line, we were introduced to King Jaco. The weird thing is, he uses the same head as King Matthias and that weird King Leo minifigure. Honestly, there's nothing really super special about this figure besides the gold printed armor. Going across the sea where monsters roam wild, we find the Viking King, who is from the 2005 Vikings line. The king is red with a gold Viking helmet and appeared in 3 sets. However, in each of these sets, he's just a bit different. Sometimes he has a black cape and other times he has a red cape, sometimes he has black legs, sometimes it's brown. It just kind of changes up. Before we move on to the next figures, if you love LEGO Castle or want to know more about these themes I've been talking about, you should hit that subscribe button, since my whole channel is about old LEGO Castle themes, new LEGO Castle themes, things that are happening in LEGO Castle, and just LEGO fantasy in general. The 2007 fantasy era of LEGO Castle would introduce to us our next royal family. The King of the Crown Knights goes by a few different names. He is called the Good King on LEGO.com, King Brutus in LEGO Legacy, King Edward in Medieval Adventures Troll Attack, and King Revert in Adventures of Clutch Powers. Early versions of this figure used a Viking torso and had plain legs. However, in the final wave of sets, he was updated with a new printed torso and legs, which give him a very royal look. His wife is never given a name, but shows up in Drawbridge Defense. She uses this hairpiece that we have seen so many times in LEGO Castle by now. However, her and Leia from Star Wars were the first two minifigures to ever use it, and you're going to see this hairpiece in more figures coming up. She uses a blue dress which matches very nicely with the updated King design. The King and Queen had two kids, a son and a daughter. The son is one of the main characters in the Clutch Power movie, and is called Prince Varen. However, he was never made into a minifigure. We did get the daughter as a minifigure in both of the chess sets, and in Skeleton Tower where she is called the Crown Princess. In Medieval Adventures Troll Attack, she is called Princess Alyssa. Her hairpiece, which has been used in so many sets, was first used in 2007 for her and Hermione. The fantasy era also gave some love to our short kings out there. Look, you guys aren't forgotten about. LEGO didn't forget about you guys. Dwarf's Mine featured the Dwarf King, who also appeared in the game LEGO Battles. The Dwarf King used a gold-winged helmet. The gold-winged helmet did reappear in the large chess set, the LEGO Castle Advent Calendar, and the Dwarf Battle Pack. I do wonder if the figures in the Battle Pack and Advent Calendar are supposed to be Dwarf Princes. The great thing about Fantasy Era is even the bad guys got some royalty. We got both a king and queen for the Troll faction in Troll's Mountain Fortress. The Troll King is a fantastic minifigure with an exclusive head print, torso print, and crown. However, in the original run of this set, they used a metallic copper crown. When metallic copper was retired, the crown was switched to reddish brown, and both colors are exclusive to the set. The Troll Queen is another fantastic minifigure that fits in great with the Troll King. Originally, she was called the Troll Sorceress, but was called the Troll Queen in LEGO Worlds. She also has an exclusive head, torso, and dress print. The most filled out royal family that we've ever gotten came out in LEGO Kingdoms. The head of the family is the Lion King, who came in a total of 4 sets, including a chess set. My favorite design of his is the one used in the Joust and in King's Carriage Ambush. I love his exclusive printed legs that have this lion chain on them. Now the legs and torso he uses in the Lion Knight's castle are the same ones that are used for the Lion Kingdom's prince. The prince only came in the LEGO Kingdoms Advent Calendar. I find this figure really interesting because him and the OG prince are the only 2 princes we have ever gotten in LEGO Castle, something I feel like we should have gotten more of. In the Kingdom's Advent Calendar was also the first appearance of the Lion Kingdom's Queen, where she has black hair. However, she later reappeared in the chess set and Kingdom's Joust set with dark brown hair. She actually shares the same head as the Crown Queen. On top of a son, the King and Queen also had a daughter who only came in Prison Tower Rescue. She was originally just called Princess. However, when Legoland Windsor opened up, they called her Princess Polly. Because Legoland is technically owned by another company than LEGO, they aren't always your best sources of lore. However, I have used worse sources before. Not only did we get a full royal family, but we also got a lion nobleman. Besides like the tax collector, who I barely count as a noble, but I will be talking about him later, this is the only nobleman we've ever gotten in LEGO Castle. I definitely think that this is something we need more of. His torso is exclusive and his legs are reused from the King and Prince. This is one of the reasons I love LEGO Kingdoms, because you also get a jester in this theme, and with him you get this well-rounded out royal court, something I'd say like only Fantasy Era has ever gotten close to. In the LEGO Kingdoms Joust, we also got another princess minifigure. According to LEGO Legacy Heroes in Box, she is called Princess Verda, and is from another kingdom. In the description of the joust, it says the knights are jousting for the hand of the beautiful princess. Like if I was to rank the princesses, this would definitely be my #1 choice. The next royal family we got was in 2013 Castle. However, it pales in comparison compared to the Kingdoms one. The 2013 King is very similar to the Kingdoms King, except he is blue. He only came in one set, King's Castle. However, this king made a switch from a chrome gold crown to a metallic gold one. The only other figure to use that piece is a random king who showed up in a 4+ set. We also got a princess in this theme who again is very similar to the Kingdom's princess. She only comes in Dragon Mountain, where she keeps up the tradition of just being locked up by the bad guys. Something that is quite unique about her is that she's one of the few figures to use a friend's hairpiece. Like it's one of the rubber ones, not your usual plastic one. Now, I don't think I'll hear the end of it if I don't mention the royal family that we got in Nexo Knights. In this series, we got King Halbert, who has 2 different looks. One with his gold armor, and the other one where he has a crown hair piece, but with a blue crown. We also got Queen Halbert, who also has a gold battle look. Her other look is her in royal garb, and she just looks fantastic. This figure can easily be transferred and used in a normal castle theme. They do have a daughter, Macy, who is one of the Nexo Knights. After that, the next royal figure we would see wouldn't appear until 2022. In the Lion Knight's castle, we got the Queen, who is a fantastic figure. She has a beautiful printed lion cape. According to the instruction booklet of the set, she is called Queen Liani, which if you don't know means lioness. She is also given her own shield in Medieval Town Square, which really brings together her battle look. Now we could just go back and forth whether he's actually a noble or not, but I think he's pretty close to being one. And that's the Queen's tax collector who we got in Medieval Town Square. His purple and black design makes him feel very noble, and definitely makes him stand out compared to the other figures on this list. In 2025, we got the 3-in-1 Medieval Horse Knight Castle, which comes with both a king and a queen. The king is a spectacular minifigure which reuses the crown from the CMF king. He comes with a white printed torso and legs, which stand out from the other kings we have gotten. However, the queen reuses the basic horse knight torso and the hair that we have seen on so many queens by now. Like, can we get a new hairpiece? She's actually a knight in the set, but is meant to be turned into a queen with the extra parts you get. And that is the full history of royalty in LEGO Castle. I feel like Knights Kingdom, Fantasy Era, and Kingdoms did the best jobs of highlighting the royalty in LEGO Castle. Like, when we get a full royal family, it really just helps expand the world and gives you some very unique prints. If we ever get a new castle theme, I hope LEGO takes notes and gives us a fleshed out royal court. I also believe that we need more bad guy royalty. Like, Fantasy Era is really the only one that did that. Again, there are a few kings and queens that we got in some like random 4+ sets or chess sets, or even in themes outside of LEGO Castle. One of those kings I do want to highlight is the Undead King who came in Lord of the Rings, since he is the only figure to come with the sand green crown part. Let me know what king, queen, or princess from LEGO Castle is your favorite, and what faction would you like to see to get a royal family. I hope you enjoyed this tale from my archives. Until next time.